Angel. In X-Men Apocalypse, the mutant Warren Worthington III, known as Angel, goes through one of the most striking transformations in the franchise. He had already been introduced as an underground fighter, using his wings to survive in cage matches. His life changes when Apocalypse awakens and chooses 4 mutants to become his horsemen. Angel is one of them. The villain transforms the young warrior into Archangel. The natural feathers on his wings are replaced with sharp metallic blades, deadly and lethal. On top of that, he gains more strength, endurance, and a much darker look. This change isn't just physical. It symbolizes the loss of his humanity and his complete submission to Apocalypse's power. The once rebellious Angel, who had some sense of independence, becomes a ruthless soldier, ready to follow orders without question. Deadpool. Deadpool's first appearance was in X-Men Origins, Wolverine. Ryan Reynolds was already playing the character, but that version was a disaster. The character, known as the Merc with a Mouth, showed up with no mouth, random powers, and zero humor. The audience immediately rejected it. Even so, Reynolds didn't give up. He'd always been a huge fan of the character and believed he deserved a faithful adaptation. For years, he tried to convince Fox. Then, in 2014, a CGI test video leaked online. It showed Deadpool in action, jokes, over-the-top violence, and breaking the fourth wall. It went viral fast, and fans flooded the internet demanding a solo movie.
Oh, hello there. I bet you're wondering why the red suit. Well, that's so bad guys can't see me bleed.
The studio finally gave in and Deadpool was born, to our delight. Seriously, one of Marvel's coolest characters almost got thrown away because of that earlier mess. Beyond the behind-the-scenes changes, the new film also showed the character's true transformation within the story. Wade Wilson, a sarcastic former soldier, finds out he has terminal cancer. Out of options, he agrees to take part in an experiment that activates mutations. He gains a healing factor, but ends up horribly disfigured, which leads him to fully embrace the Deadpool identity.
Maximum effort.
Adult was an absolute success. The film made over $700 million at the box office. Adult humor, bloody action, and Reynolds' perfect performance turned the character into a modern superhero icon. Full power. Bobby Drake, the Iceman, is one of the original X-Men. At first, he doesn't have full control over his powers. In X-Men and X2, Bobby covers his body with a thin layer of ice for protection or attacks, but his human form still shows underneath. In X-Men, The Last Stand, he finally reaches his full ice form, completely crystalline and translucent. At this stage, Bobby becomes much stronger and more resilient. Attacks that could have seriously hurt him before have no effect now. He also gains better control of his abilities. In X-Men, Days of Future Past, Bobby shows even more mastery, moving with precision and using his icy form strategically to fight the Sentinels, proving his control over ice reached an advanced level. But sadly, he ends up dying during one of the battles. Indestructible body. Emma Frost is the definition of power and elegance. An elite telepath, she can invade minds, manipulate thoughts, and create complex illusions. No wonder she can even face off against Xavier in a mental battle. But what's really terrifying is her diamond form. When she transforms, her entire body turns into solid crystal. In that state, Emma is practically indestructible. Bullets, blades, and physical blows can't harm her. She also gains superhuman strength, able to smash obstacles or break through tough surfaces with ease. Her diamond form has extra perks too. Emma becomes immune to mental attacks. No one can read or affect her mind. But there's a catch. While in her crystal state, she loses her telepathy. She can't use psychic powers and has to rely only on strength and endurance. Even with all that potential, the character was underused in Fox's films. But every time she appeared in combat or turned herself into Diamond, it was a visual spectacle.
Isn't she, Bob? Genetic mutation. The evolution of the human genome.
Master of shapeshifting. Mystique is the mutant who redefines what it means to transform. Her ability? To change into the appearance of any person or creature. She can copy faces, bodies, clothes, even voices with absolute perfection.
How are we?
From a young age, Raven developed a natural talent for camouflage. In the movies, we see her slip through impossible situations, infiltrating places without anyone noticing. That makes her an unbeatable spy and a constant threat. But Mystique doesn't just imitate, she can also shift into her true mutant form. Blue skin, yellow eyes, reptilian texture, and sharp claws. That's her real self, powerful and intimidating. In this form, she gains strength, agility, and resilience. In combat, she's almost impossible to stop. But even though she's great at blending in, her real weakness is her scent. Mutants with a sharp sense of smell can detect her, even when she's disguised. In Fox's movies, Mystique is used both for espionage and epic battles. Each transformation is visually stunning, and her adaptability makes her one of the most unique and unpredictable mutants of all. Senator Kelly. Senator Robert Kelly, played by Bruce Davison, is a powerful politician in Washington. He pushes for the Mutant Registration Act and takes a strong stance against mutants.
The issue that is the focus of this hearing, 3 words: are mutants dangerous?
During the movie, he's kidnapped by the Brotherhood of Mutants. Magneto uses him as a test subject for his machine that turns humans into mutants. The idea was to create weapons, but the experiment goes terribly wrong. Kelly does gain mutant powers, but in a bizarre way. His body becomes liquid, like a jellyfish. He can stretch, slip away, and move in fluid motions. It's an impressive visual transformation. However, the change is unstable. Kelly's cellular structure can't handle it, and he starts deteriorating fast. Desperate, he seeks help from the X-Men, but there's no way to reverse it. In the climax, he disintegrates, melting into a puddle of water in front of Storm. Sunspot. Roberto da Costa is a mutant who channels solar radiation to empower himself. His body glows, literally catching fire, and he turns into a mutant version of the Human Torch. Flames shoot out from his hands, chest, anywhere he wants. It's not just for show. Solar energy makes Roberto faster, stronger, and nearly impossible to knock down. He can even fly. On screen, in X-Men, Days of Future Past, we get to see how destructive he can be. But don't think he's invincible. Water, rain, or even a pool can weaken his flames for a while, putting limits on his abilities. Limbo power. Ilyana Hasputin, also known as Magik, is a mutant who mixes teleportation with mystical abilities. Her basic power is creating portals, allowing her to instantly move from one place to another. But her real strength comes from Limbo, a parallel dimension filled with magical energy. That's where she trains and sharpens her abilities, turning magic into both weapon and defense. When she goes into battle, Magik summons the Soul Sword, an energy blade connected to her magical armor. The armor partially covers her arm, but it's enough to amplify her strikes and protect her energy. The sword responds to her will, letting her attack or block with perfect timing. She combines speed, strategy, and supernatural power, using portals to confuse enemies or reposition herself mid-fight. Every move is calculated, proving she's not just about raw power, it's intelligence and control. Even though the New Mutants wasn't very well received, every time Ilyana activates her powers, she steals the show. Her presence is hypnotic, especially when she mixes teleportation with magical attacks. The Blue Genius. Hank McCoy, better known as Beast, is one of the original mutants from Charles Xavier's first generation of recruits. In X-Men First Class, he appears as a brilliant scientist and a member of the CIA's Division X, the branch responsible for dealing with paranormal phenomena. At first, Hank hides his condition. Despite his genius-level intellect, his large, disproportionate feet gave away his mutation. Those limbs granted him extreme agility, superhuman jumps, high-speed running, and the ability to cling to surfaces like a wild athlete. But the weight of prejudice always haunted him. Trying to fix himself, Hank created a serum to make his appearance look normal. The result, however, was the opposite. His mutation evolved, covering him in blue fur with sharp teeth and claws. From then on, the beastly side of the scientist was fully unleashed. Even after the unexpected change, Hank didn't lose his essence. He remained the brain behind many of the X-Men's technological advances, combining brute strength with a genius mind. It was from this metamorphosis that he earned the nickname he'd be remembered by forever, Beast, Steel Titan. Colossus, also known as Pyotr Rasputin, Magik's brother, is one of the most iconic mutants in the X-Men universe. His ability is unique. He can transform his entire body into organic steel, gaining immense strength and nearly impenetrable durability. In X2, X-Men United, the character made his first big screen appearance, played by Daniel Cudmore. Even with little screen time, he stood out. During the attack on Xavier's school, Colossus appears to protect the younger students. That's when we first see his transformation. His shiny skin hardens into metal, turning him into a living fortress against William Stryker's soldiers. Even though it was just a brief moment, it was enough to show his potential. Later, Colossus returned in X-Men, The Last Stand and Days of Future Past, again played by Cudmore, with bigger roles in the epic battles. Years later, the hero got a new version in the Deadpool movies, this time voiced and emotion captured by Stefan Kapicic. This version brought humor and charm, making Colossus one of the standout characters, alongside the Merc with a mouth.
That's not good.
Wait, please.
Cockshot!
You really should stop.
Rise of the Phoenix. Jean Grey has always been portrayed as one of the most powerful mutants among the X-Men, but her story on screen also shows the dark side of that power. In the original trilogy, played by Famke Janssen, Jean starts out as Cyclops' loyal partner and one of Professor Xavier's most dedicated students. But in X2, she sacrifices herself to save the team, and it seems like the end for her. However, Jean returns in The Last Stand, where her control over her psychic powers completely breaks down. That's when the Dark Phoenix awakens. Jean's personality is overtaken by a destructive, impulsive, and uncontrollable side. The peak of this transformation comes when she kills allies and enemies without hesitation. Her power becomes so devastating that even the X-Men can't stop her. Years later, the story was retold in Dark Phoenix, with Sophie Turner playing the role. This time, the story dives deeper into Jean's emotions. She absorbs a cosmic force during a space mission, which amplifies her telepathic and telekinetic powers beyond all limits. But that energy doesn't just bring power, it brings instability, making her lose control and putting everyone around her in danger. In both versions, the message is clear. Jean Grey's transformation into the Dark Phoenix shows how absolute power can become an unbearable burden, and a danger even to the ones you love most. The Viper. In The Wolverine, the character known in the comics as Madam Hydra appears in a new form, under the name Viper. In the movie, she's portrayed as a mutant with snake-inspired abilities, both in body and behavior. Her transformation is shown in a striking way. Viper has the ability to shed her skin, just like a snake. This process acts as regeneration, allowing her to heal from injuries and revealing her reptilian nature. This ability also makes her immune to toxins and diseases, reinforcing her superhuman condition. Another highlight is her appearance and venom. With scaly skin and agile movements, she can secrete deadly poisons. She uses her tongue and venom-coated weapons to strike, turning her body and tools into deadly extensions of her power. She also proves to be a skilled manipulator of toxins. In one of the movie's key moments, Viper uses a special substance to neutralize Wolverine's healing factor, making him vulnerable for the first time in years. In the climax, we see her final metamorphosis. The villain reveals a monstrous form, with scaly skin, more menacing eyes, and a poisonous tongue. Weapon X. Logan was just a man with claws, a regular mutant. Nothing special about his appearance, but everything changed with the Weapon X program. Stryker wanted to test the limits of Wolverine's healing factor. The idea was to coat his skeleton with adamantium, the indestructible metal, a brutal experiment that most subjects wouldn't survive. Logan had no idea how much it would hurt. The procedure is extreme. He's restrained, submerged in a machine filled with spinning needles, and the adamantium is injected directly into his bones. Every puncture is agonizing, but Logan's body endures it. He feels everything: pain, shock, pressure, but his healing factor keeps every cell alive. The result is immediate. Logan's body becomes a living weapon. Indestructible bones, razor-sharp adamantium claws, faster, stronger, practically immortal. The transformation isn't just physical, it's mental too. Rage and savagery take over. He learns to use his newfound power to escape Stryker's control. His breakout is violent, iconic, and marks the true birth of Wolverine. On screen right now, there's an awesome video showing the greatest sacrifices in superhero movies. And yes, some X-Men made the list. I'll see you there.